Hi there YouTube and Vimeo, and I'll just say hello to Blip and iTunes and the Internet Archive and VodPod and Dailymotion and Laugh or Die, and if I haven't named any other video upload sites, consider yourself welcomed, because I'm going to put this video on all of those. Yeah, I'm just thinking about what participatory video communities look like and what kind of legislation should be in place. And this is coming from my experiences recently on both YouTube and on Vimeo, in which I've fallen foul of the terms of service of both those sites and had channels either suspended in the case of YouTube or entirely deleted in the case of Vimeo, in my opinion unfairly. And by unfairly I mean without due process, without appeal, and an unfair usage of the terms of service. And the way these problems come about, I think, is because of a problem that those sites have, and all video upload sites, and working with this kind of participatory media, is that it's about how do you monitor your content. You know, how do you make sure that there's not a lot of child pornography or extreme violence or copyrighted material being uploaded? How do you do that if you are a large site taking in a lot of media, which in the case of YouTube is 48 hours a minute, I believe? How do you do that? You can't do it personally. The only way to do it is to outsource it to your community through some sort of flagging system, and so which means that only videos that are brought to your attention are looked at, and then once they are looked at, in the case of both those sites it appears, and probably others as well, once those videos are looked at, the most draconian criteria are brought to bear. So in other words, you can put pretty much anything you want on those sites, unless it draws the attention of someone, either you know, because of goodwill, because they genuinely feel that they're doing a civic duty, but more often these days because of maliciousness or ignorance. If it draws the attention of someone, then it's very, very likely indeed that your video will be removed, even though there's millions or thousands at least of other videos which are far more representative of perhaps of violations than the video you yourself have lost, or the channel you've lost. So that's the problem, really. There's several solutions. Well, there's several. I mean, the most secure way of looking at this is the way I would ideally like a system to be. I mean, the idea that my content, my expression, can be, oops, thumb over the camera lens. The idea that my capacity to express myself freely can be curtailed. You know, that my right to publish can be stopped by anything other than an authority vested in kind of elected government that I've been partly responsible for electing. Anything less than that just seems completely wrong. You know, if I put something online and it's illegal and the police come knocking at my door and tell me to take it down, that's completely fair enough, because the police are ultimately answerable to myself and the community that I am part of. But if that's being taken down because of a corporation trying to protect its brand identity, or if it's being taken down because of a corporation going through the motions of being seen to police itself, or if it's being brought down by a corporation you know, trying to force people into playing nice, then that seems completely anathema to everything that social media and participatory video particularly should be about. So you know, obviously the only way is to have total control over your own media by hosting it yourself, and that might be something that we'll need to do ultimately. But there must be other ways of doing it. I mean, that's the problem that we need to solve. How do sites, the big sites like YouTube and Vimeo and so on, but even smaller sites, how do we, if we are working communally, police that site, outsource the monitoring of video uploads, whilst maintaining proper quality control and proper transparency of those processes? Yeah.